Hey gang, let's go on an adventure. A few years back, when I was but a young Leeness, I lived in a tall, thin house with 3 levels. Some people call them 3-storied houses. And the layout of this house, working from the top down, my mum's room, my brother's room, my youngest brother's room, and the bathroom. Then coming down to the 2nd floor, there was like an open plan living room, kitchen and dining room, and there was also a toilet on the landing. Not on the landing, there's a room for the toilet on the landing. You get the point. And finally, the ground floor. You have the entrance door, the spare room, the toilet under the stairs, so the stairs going up, toilet, and then you have the computer room next to the toilet, the door to the back garden, and then my room, my bedroom, my kingdom, my humble abode, my fortress for sleeping and playing with various amounts of toys, such as action men and miniature cars on a carpet with roads and other city things printed on it. It was a carpet on which you could play with Hot Wheels racing cars. And it was so damn good, until my freaking dog one day decided to excrement all over it. I loved that damn rug. I had that rug since I was a freaking Mini-Leeness. A tiny version of the person you see before you. I don't want to get rid of it. I adored it so much. So I persuaded my mum to wash it about 1 billion times so that I could keep my awesome plain rug. Now this 3-level building was relatively new. If I remember correctly, it was probably about 1 or 2 years old by the time we had moved in, if that, to be quite honest. So seriously new. It wasn't as if this tower of safety was old. At the age it was, I hadn't really experienced any horror films or horror stories. I was rather cushioned from it, to be honest, which was fine, because the horror genre is freaking scary. To this day, I try to avoid it at all costs. I can't watch horror film trailers, I can't watch horror-themed adverts. For example, Phones For You had an advert with some freaky lady in a car park. Nope. No thank you. We don't suit as a couple, Horror and I. We don't have the same interests. I like my heart level to remain pretty constant at all times, and I also prefer my bowels to remain inside until such a time where I am seated on the necessary porcelain. Even though my exposure to scary things had been relatively small at the time, I still had a very suggestive mind. Anytime a conversation arose about scary things to do in the mirror, etc., I just became sleepless for a good 8 months. Bloody Mary can frick off, the Midnight Man, no, and Ouija boards. Whoever invented those, you suck. You're also probably dead, which is good, because I don't like you. Now I quickly became convinced that there was something unnerving about this place of which I once dwelled, because I experienced some stuff that I could not explain. One night, after my wonderful mother tucked me into bed, the hallway light left on, the door ajar so that the safety light could caress my resting face, delivering assurance and refuge to my slumber, I felt the edge of my bed sink, as if someone was sat there. I panicked. I don't move. I don't yell. But inside, I'm like, ah! There is something/someone on my bed. But there's no one there. There's no one there. No, scary hell demon, leave me to rest. Depart from my crib, hellion. There was another time where I swear I was visited by some sort of alien. Once again, I was nestling on my mattress of comfort, falling gently to dream world, when I suddenly became aware that I could not move. Derailed from my journey to Fantasy Kingdom, I became painstakingly aware that my body could not give motion. My breathing became very heavy, and whilst I was attempting to establish what the frick was going on, I realised that my bedroom door was shut. My door was never shut. The defensive illumination was no longer being administered. I was open for attack. Delicate. Condemned to be tortured by this paralysing being for all eternity. Inside wailing. Outside. I farted really loudly. the only sound my vessel of life could make. My throat was seized. I couldn't cry out for help to anyone passing by. It was horrible, dreading what the flip was going to happen next. I could have been murdered. The next thing I know, I'm free from this invisible restraint. I can manoeuvre again. I'm free. I'm just scarred for life now. Thanks for that, ghostly villain. And finally, the last tale of woe. My most embarrassing story. Once again, I had just been tucked into bed, the door left open, the landing light left on, so all defences were activated. I had also acquired a Beanie Baby. Not just some any small insignificant thing though. Oh no, a giant of a Beanie Baby. A dog that I later named Tracker. This was a new addition to my arsenal against tyranny, helping keep atrocious monsters at bay. My stepbrothers at the time were also being put to bed in the spare room next to mine. We said our goodnights and our parents wandered up to the living room. All three of us are slowly drifting off to Imagination Empire when suddenly the toilet door outside begins to creep open. But it hadn't been oiled for some time, so it was more like and when it stopped, the tap began running. I call out to my stepbrothers and they immediately reply, "We thought it was you." At that exact moment, the computer starts up. Terrified, we shriek louder than Justin Bieber fans. Just cacking our pants. Unable to control the distress emanating from our vocal cords, our parents rushed down the stairs, having no idea what to expect upon their arrival, equally pooing themselves. It was like a hysteria conference that all of us had been invited to, but none of us wanted to be a part of. I jumped out of bed as fast as I could, just wanting to get to my mother's arms as quickly as I can, and I tripped over my rug. Tracker goes flying up into the air as I face plant onto the exact spot of my rug where there had once been poop. I swear, whatever remnant had been left just exploded into my face. So I just started... Tracker comes cascading down like a spongy bullet, gliding into the back of my skull, freaking me the frick out as I choke to death on minuscule amounts of turd. As I'm flopping around on the floor, choking on poo, my mum bursts into the room, yelling, "What the hell is going on?" As I recovered from my attack, the situation becomes clear. I had pooed myself. And in the jumping out of my bed, it had descended to the rug. And I had fallen straight on it. Not my best childhood memory.